everybody, we just wanted to thank you for all coming out to help us celebrate our marriage today.
We just wanted to fill everybody in on our love story.
So the first time I saw Garrett probably be the summer going into my 8th grade year. I was sitting by the pool and I saw the Garrett cold glacier. I see him dive into the water and he comes over and he pulls himself up out of the pool and he like just plants one big one right on the forehead of this girl sitting like right beside me. And I just thought it was like the sweetest love that I'd ever seen, you know, as an 8th grade girl. Sat right there and I prayed real quick to God and I was just like, I really hope to have that kind of love someday. Please give me a man like that someday. And he went above and beyond and got me that man.
So the first time I met Jess, I don't think she remembers this, but we danced at the homecoming dance when I was a senior and she was a freshman. I don't think she remembers it, but I know I do.
Our first date, we actually went out to Old Chicago here in Topeka because I love spaghetti. And actually while we were there, we were playing like the salt game where you throw the packet back and forth to each other. And at that moment, like I was like, okay, this guy obviously can act completely goofy in public with me, and which is perfect because that's exactly how I am in public. And I accidentally called us a couple and I was so scared that I scared him off. I was like, we're the only couple playing the salt shaker game. And I looked up at him and he didn't even do anything, so I figured we were in the clear. So after our first date, we proceeded to watch on my laptop the movie Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron, and it's one of my favorite childhood movies, and so the fact that he had seen it before and he was gonna sit there and watch it with me on like a tiny laptop screen, it was honestly the perfect date I've ever had.
Our first date wasn't really an official date, but it was the first time we hung out together. She asked me to go fishing and it was just right over there at the pond, and I didn't really think anything of it because I really liked to fish, so I wanted to go fish, and it just kind of snowballed from there. So how he asked me to be his girlfriend, I was actually playing a video or like a computer game or something at home, and we had a date scheduled for the next night. It was like a Saturday night. So Friday, July 7th of 2011, I texted Garrett Kohlglazer and said, hey, I'm really into you and I'm curious if we're gonna make a little bit more of this or not. And he said, if you would have waited one more day, you would not be asking this question. And I felt so bad that I ruined this surprise for him. Like 5 minutes later, I'm playing my video game and he walks in the door and says something really sweet and surprises me. I just kind of said, hey. She turned around all surprised, and I was like, will you go out with me? And I don't know if she said yes, but she kind of hugged me, and I think she probably kissed me, I don't know, something like that.
So our love story really didn't start until I was a freshman in high school and he was a senior, and it was actually towards the end of my freshman year.
It was pretty hard at the beginning, but I think since I was involved in sports and she was involved in sports, the weeks went fast, and I know I got a lot of shit for this, but I went home a lot so to see her, but that's okay because it's worked out so far.
So proposal day, I was supposed to be in clinical until noon, and on my way to clinical that morning, he called me and said, hey Jess, that big storm that came through last night knocked over a bunch of tree limbs at your grandparents, and they're really wanting some help to pick up some tree limbs. And now that I think back about it, there wasn't even a storm, so I don't even know what I was thinking, but of course, gullible Jess, I was like, oh yeah, of course, I get out at noon, I'll come down as soon as I'm done.
While she was at clinicals, her mom and I went to Hobby Lobby and bought a whole bunch of flowers. And she had called me in the middle of buying flowers saying she was out of her clinical and I had to convince her to stay in Topeka so we could stay in Topeka and get a whole bunch of stuff so I could propose to her. So we had everything set up, and it took a little while for Jess to get to the house, and so we had to wait on her a little bit. But her grandma texted us and told her she was coming, and I made her walk a mile to get to the pond, and we had flowers and stuff along the path, and I don't know if she knew what was going on.
So we're walking up the hill, and I hear music start, and I see a very nicely dressed man standing at the end of the dock on my grandfather's pond, and my stomach just dropped. I knew what was going on finally, and I realized that this was all a huge scheme and why he was acting kind of weird that morning. And yeah, so I walked all the way down to the dock, and Garrett got down on one knee, and here we are today. It's hard to pick a couple things because I love a lot of things about Garrett. I love how carefree he's willing to act in public. We can be in Walmart and honestly make a date out of being in Walmart together. And we'll go to the kids aisle and just mess around with toys, and it's just always so much fun to be around him, and he's always making me laugh.
She's pretty relatable. I mean, we're basically the same person. She's outdoorsy, I'm outdoorsy. She likes animals, I like animals. She likes cats, I like cats. She's got a great family, and she's one of a kind. So, and I think she's just really interested in what I have going on, and I don't know. It's kind of nice that she does that. She's accepted me for who I am, I guess, so to speak.
I love his eyes. His eyes are just one of the prettiest shades of brown I've ever seen, and I just can get stuck staring in them all day.
I love her smile, I love her eyes. I love the way she looks at me. She looks at me with a lot more interest than somebody should look at me, I think.
I just love him.
I just love her. She's great. She's mine.